I would like to welcome you to my channel, That Middle-Aged Lady. My name is Denise, and in today's video, I wanted to do a quick update to a previous video I uploaded in regards to being fit for a pessary ring after being diagnosed with bladder and uterine prolapse. If you are new to my channel and that sounds like something you're interested in hearing more about, as I do go into great detail, I will make sure and link that video in the description below. For those of you who are familiar with my story, as you know, I was fitted for a size 5 pessary ring after being diagnosed with bladder and uterine prolapse, but after wearing it for several months, ended up experiencing quite a bit of discomfort along with some bleeding as well. Until eventually, I was able to convince my gynecologist to try the next size down, being a size 4 pessary ring, and so I just wanted to give an update since I've been wearing that for several months now, just to let everybody know how that's going. In all honesty, if I didn't know it was in there, then I wouldn't even know that I was wearing it, since I feel nothing at all, which is exactly how it's supposed to be when fitted properly. So I'm definitely glad that I insisted that we try the next size down, as I definitely think that was the right answer for me. However, I have been experiencing some discharge. I can't say a lot of it, but definitely a fair amount of it. And although it doesn't smell per se, there are times where it does seem to have a little bit of an odor to it. I did do some research on it and then also spoke with my gynecologist as well last time I was in to get it taken out and cleaned. And apparently it's quite common when a woman wears a pessary ring, since our bodies are recognizing it as a foreign object that doesn't belong there, that can then lead to some inflammation, which can increase the vaginal secretions, which is the technical name for vaginal discharge. Just a side note, as I found this rather interesting, vaginal discharge is actually just a mixture of cervical mucus, cells from the vagina and cervix, bacteria, and water. The reason that we get it is to help protect the vagina from infection, to help lubricate it during intercourse, to help remove any dead cells and debris, and then also to help maintain a healthy flora, which is the microorganisms that help to keep the vagina balanced and healthy. So in the sense of a pessary ring, although it can be a nuisance, vaginal discharge is actually a good thing, since it helps to keep the vagina clean and prevent any type of infections. So I just wear a panty liner and make sure and change it at least twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. Sometimes I'll even change it midday. And then I also went out and bought some Vagisil odor blocking gel that I'll use whenever I take a shower, and that seems to help as well. And then, per the recommendation of my gynecologist, I will use a vinegar douche maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks. You have to be careful that you don't use it too much, because then you can mess with the natural pH of the vagina and then change its natural flora. If you were also fitted for a pessary device, regardless of what type of pessary it is, and you have been experiencing some discharge as well, that is something that I would probably bring up to your doctor next time you go in to see them, just to make sure that everything's okay. Because although it is very common to experience this discharge when wearing a pessary, sometimes it can lead to inflammation, which can lead to an infection. So I would just bring it up just to make sure that, something more wasn't going on. I would also ask about the vinegar douche as well, just to see if they think it's okay for you to use it. I do know that some doctors will actually prescribe some type of moisturizers and things. Although my doctor didn't feel the need for it, there are some doctors that will. And so again, these are all questions and things that you want to check with your doctor about, whether it's a urogynecologist or a gynecologist, just to make sure that you're on the same page and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. I continue to go in every 3 months to have my gynecologist take it out, clean it, and then put it back in again. Mainly because, like I said in my previous video, I did try and feel up there to see if I could feel it, and I couldn't so much as feel it, and I really don't want to be fishing around up there. So in my particular case, I feel like that's the best option for me. Although I feel like 3 months is pretty much the general standard for how often you need to have it taken out and cleaned. I have heard as early as once a week and as late as once a year. I couldn't even imagine waiting a year for this to be taken out and cleaned, since once I start to approach that 3-month mark, I do start to notice a little bit more odor with it. And so I just can't imagine waiting any longer than 3 months. Plus, I've read and been told that the longer you keep it in, the more likely of a chance you have to it leading to erosion, mainly because it's been sitting up there for so long that everything starts to kind of grow around it. And so I couldn't even imagine waiting a year. But obviously, everybody's circumstances are different, everybody's doctors are different, and so I think it's just important to do your research and figure out what works best for you, and then to just be consistent with following that regimen. And so I am definitely happy with the process thus far, especially now that I've been fitted for the right size pessary. And although, yes, it is a pain in the neck to have to go in every 3 months to have it taken out and cleaned, I still feel like that's a better alternative than having to worry that the bladder and or uterus is going to pop out of my vagina. The doctor did say that in a lot of cases with a woman that has stage 3 prolapse like I do, that the second he takes that pessary out, the organ is already trying to pop back down again. But the last time he did mine, he said it didn't, and so he is hopeful that if I can wear this pessary ring long enough, say another year or two, that hopefully scar tissue will start to form around those ligaments, which is basically what they do for surgery. Is, you know, in the case that they use your native tissue, they will suspend it, and then scar tissue eventually forms to make that even more secure. And he's hoping that, you know, eventually the scar tissue will just naturally form in my case so that I won't need surgery, and maybe at some point I won't have to wear the pessary ring any longer. Thankfully, I am done having children now that I'm 58, so I don't have to worry about that. And I also think at this point in my life, I finally learned my lesson that you shouldn't lift more than you should lift or carry more than you should carry, since there can definitely be a consequence to that. And so I am just going to keep moving along, keep going in every 3 months, have it taken out and cleaned, keep doing everything that I'm supposed to do, and then we'll see down the road what happens. So fingers crossed, hopefully everything works out. Other than that, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today, for all of your support, and for those of you who have left such wonderful comments, as I really do think it helps to be able to share our stories with one another and to have that camaraderie. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them, and I'll be happy to answer anything that I can. See you next time.